Welcome back, friends. I want to start today's video with a little story. 2 years ago, my husband and I were living with over $70,000 worth of debt. It was literally like a black cloud looming over us. Like, we knew it was there, but we didn't want to face it. And with our monthly bills and expenses, it felt insurmountable, like we would never conquer it. But luckily, with a little dedication, some motivation, and a proper budget, we were able to pay off that $70,000 worth of debt in just over a year, and now we live debt-free. Now, I want you to know that this is not some like overnight success or get rich quick scheme type of thing. We are just average people who finally took the steps necessary to take financial control of our lives for the sake of our future. Now, getting out of debt is one thing, but staying out of debt is an entirely different thing. So in today's video, I want to share with you guys how we're able to live a debt-free life and continue to stay out of debt. Alright, the first step is to create yourself a proper budget. Now, I will never stop talking about the importance of creating a real good budget that you can stick to, because not only is it vital to paying off debt, but it is even more important when it comes to staying out of debt. Now listen, I say proper budget for a very specific reason, because it is very easy to have an unsuccessful budget. Budgets can be bad for lots of reasons. Maybe you make a budget that's too generic, so it's really impossible to stick with. Maybe it's unrealistic, like you don't give yourself any extra money to have any fun on the weekends. Or probably one of the most common mistakes is you make a budget without having a really strong understanding of your current spending habits. I have an entire video where I break down how to create a successful budget you can actually stick with, and I will link that video down below if you want to check it out, so that you can finally conquer a budget and create one that's good, that you can really stick to. All right, the next step is to learn how to conquer and avoid the temptation to overspend. Never before in the history of people have products been so available to us with Amazon and online shopping, not to mention the fact that we're bombarded with ads constantly, and we have pressure from social media to always feel like we need to have the latest and greatest. This is what has led, in my opinion, to one of the biggest financial problems of our generation: overspending. Spending is an addiction, and the sooner I was able to accept that and admit it, the easier it was to cut back and avoid falling into the old habits of overspending again. Listen, I'm not saying I never buy anything. I have an Amazon Prime membership like the rest of us, and I like to go on and buy myself little treats, get myself a new pair of jeans or some shoes or some home decor, something for my baby. But what it has to really come down to is not letting your spending get out of hand, or to not spend out of like trying to fill an emotional void or out of boredom. I have an entire blog post that I've written all about overspending and how you can finally conquer it and totally like stop overspending once and for all, and I will link that blog post down below. Rule number 3 is to understand that cash is king. Don't let it go to your head, okay? While I still use credit cards when I'm out for small daily purchases, which we pay off every month, I use cash for bigger purchase, essentially everything over $100, or anything that's not part of our normal monthly spending, like clothing, tech products, gadgets, home decor items, and so on. Sticking to using cash instead of credit cards is great for a lot of reasons. Obviously, the first one is that I'm not just putting all of my purchases on my credit cards, meaning I'm avoiding credit card debt. The second reason it's really great, though, is because I feel like I have to become more conscious with my spending, since I can't just blindly put it onto my credit card without thinking about it, since I'm using cash for these purchases. And lastly, because I'm buying all of my big purchases in cash, I feel like it helps me avoid impulse buying a lot, because I just have to be able to have the cash in my hand to buy what I want, or I'm going to spend time saving up for it, so I'm not just going to buy it on impulse. I have to kind of think about it while I'm saving up for it and make sure it's something I really want. A quick note about making purchases online: I do always use a credit card when I'm buying online or shopping online, just because of security, but I make sure that I have the actual cash in my bank account, and I will pay off that balance almost immediately. Alright, my next rule is probably one of the hardest, but also one of the most important, and that is to learn how to live below your means. I said learn to live below your means. Okay, great. Once you have paid off your debt, you're going to have some extra cash in your budget that's not going towards paying that debt. You want to use this money to create a cushion for yourself. So say, for example, this is the money you have coming in every single month. You don't want to create a lifestyle that once you've paid all of your monthly expenses, like housing, transportation, medical, utilities, food, you don't have anything left over. You want to find a way that you can live a lifestyle that allows you to pay all of your monthly expenses and still have some money left over. A simple example of how we do this is my husband and I, once we were debt-free, adjusted our budget so we no longer factor in my entire income. So we actually adjusted our lifestyle so we can now live off of his income and only half of my income. And this allows us to live below our means and not at our means, because we no longer max out what we have coming in every single month. We have that extra money of my half of my income that's sort of basically extra. And this means when we make big financial decisions, we no longer do it on our combined income, but we do it on this new adjusted income. Secondly, by living below our means, we're not living paycheck to paycheck, which means we can live the lifestyle we want a little bit more. It's this idea that has allowed me to be able to stay home with Miles 3 days a week and only go into the office 2 days a week, because we have that wiggle room in our budget. My last rule will probably come pretty naturally to you as you go through the process of paying off debt and starting to save, but that is to get addicted to savings. I find that the more that I do it, that I find saving money has become oddly satisfying and is more satisfying than the pleasure I used to get from overspending. It also has allowed me to sort of just realize how overpriced things are. I feel like I didn't even used to bat an eyelash at going out to a lunch date with my husband, spending $50 plus tip for like a burger and a beer, and now that just seems like way overpriced and sort of crazy to me. So a good way to think about it is whenever you're tempted to spend, remind yourself of your successes, and that success will really be super motivating to you, and you will find you really become addicted to saving your money. All right, my friends, that does it. Since I sort of shared the fact that we paid off our debt and we live debt-free now, I get a lot of questions and requests from you guys to sort of share essentially how we maintain a debt-free life and tips for overspending. So I hope that this helped to answer some of your questions. Like I said, I'm going to link some blog posts and videos down below where I go into more detail about different parts of this. I'm going to share how we created a proper budget and we're able to stick to it, which is obviously step number one when it comes to paying off debt. I'm going to link the blog post where I tell how we paid off all of our debt in about a year. And I'm also going to link a blog post I wrote all about how to finally stop overspending once and for all. But that does it for today's video. I really appreciate you guys stopping by and watching. I hope you're having a fantastic day, and I will see you all in my next video.